inception of the idea, because the idea came to me back in April when I first started working for Magamba Network, and they were talking about their festival, and I was like, wouldn't it be fun to have a gaming booth open during the festival? And from that point on, the idea took so many twists and turns, so many evolutions, and at some point I actually thought that it was not going to become a reality because of the issue of funding and everything, because some ideas, no matter how great they are, do at the end of the day require some form of monetary support for it to actually happen, because that's the world that we live in. Money makes things happen. So when I then found the grant online and everything, to tell you the truth, I wasn't too sure if I was going to actually receive that particular grant, because at this time that we were in at that point back in April, it didn't seem likely that there would be an organization willing to fund gaming because of some of the things that other individuals, other startups had done when they'd been funded regarding gaming. So there was resistance, and also the whole typical stigma of like, oh, this is just gaming, it's for kids. But I'm glad that when I then started doing the whole application process, that's when I then teamed up with Jeff and Tendai. They kind of really pushed me, I guess, to continue with the process, because it is disheartening, especially for someone like me, who's always, in, cloud number 9, dreaming up ideas and everything. So sometimes there are individuals who then want to shoot you from that cloud and bring you down to earth in the name of you need to face reality, smell the coffee, those type of things. But I'm glad that with the support that I had from my two partners, I didn't give up on the process.
My name is Tendai Pim. I'm the designer and computer programmer behind the Airborne Renegade flight simulator. So from the start of the game, the idea it's not a new idea actually, although it didn't have a name then. I worked on a flight sim, my first flight sim was back in 2020 during the start of when in the pandemic. So fast forward 2022, I was given a chance to work on a project for Shoko Festival, and I immediately jumped to that.
Nothing like, and then you can have one button here, another button here, another button here.
Okay.
Right, and then it could have you could have a small division here,
Okay.
where it's kind of like this. So it's like two blocks kind of like joined together. Now, then it would be partly like so.
Okay.
Like so, and then like so. And
So
then
it will be like a multi thing.
yeah, it'd be multi-thing.
I
So
thought about the project, and I was like, I need to do a rewrite of the project again. So when I started the project, actually, I was doing it. There were a lot of aircraft in the game. And it wasn't called Airborne Renegade. I just called the project ACE. It was like ACE is a popular word in the whole IT community kind of thing. But actually, ACE, ACE, for me, had a meaning. It was air combat exercises.
On the sim.
yeah.
Okay.
Of course, you're going to have some. That's why you have a panel, because you can't fit everything here. But what's important can
Is
be
the
fit.
hidden and
Because, for example, weapon release, weapon select. They're mostly like they're target designation and all that. They are on the buttons.
simple question.
Yeah.
I'd almost forgotten about this. Are these ailerons active?
No, they're not.
Okay, just because I noticed that they were.
They just I drew it like this, but they're mostly.
When I started the project, initially, it was supposed to have, there's supposed to be several aircraft. A lot of these aircraft were like stuff that you could attribute to popular culture. Popular culture like Iron Eagle movies, movie like Iron Eagle, Top Gun, and other movies like Transformers, because there were a lot of aircraft, things like the F-22, the F-14, the F-16, and other aircraft. So I had a lot of aircraft in there, but at some point we had to cut that down. A lot of features also had to be deleted because we were looking at it from, we want to build a flight sim, yes, but how fast does it take for an ordinary person to learn like how, the typical kind of, fighter aircraft works? There's a lot of features, there's a lot of systems, there's a lot of things, and also how much work it would take to duplicate all those systems. So we had to say, well, how much time do we have? How much time do we have? How much time will it take for someone just to kind of get the bearings around things? So what I did was had to look at several aircraft, so I looked at 4th gen and some of 5th gen. Primarily, I was looking at most popular ones. So I looked at the F-14, the F-42, the Eurofighter type thing. Yeah. I looked at the cockpits, read about some of what the aircraft do. There's a lot of resources online. Some of this information I also took it from other places like this. There's a very popular flight sim game called DCS. So there's a lot of information about how certain aircraft work. Of course, we play DCS, so I took that. And then I created like an abstract, a simplified version. Like, okay, what's the basic stuff that you would find? So I took some of the resources. There's this. A lot of people play DCS. They're called Chuck's Guide. So it's they're PDFs, essentially kind of like manuals that were created for people who like the F-16, the F-16 Block 50, the F-14, the Mirage 2000, and the A-10. So essentially what I did is I downloaded those PDFs and I started going through them. I went through the F-14 and the F-16. For the other planes, I later just looked up some gameplay and how people did operate something. So from there, I was like, okay, I can't recreate everything, like the switches. There's a bunch of switches in there. So I was like, what's the common stuff that you would find, even though the aircraft are different? There's certain things that are just common all the way out. So I was like, let's use that as the model, and then we create things up from there.
I still have working on the throttle side unit. So includes a main system research, reset switch actually. So kind of resets the entire simulation. There's a main power switch, so this will emulate activate like feed power. There's these other two switches. These are actually going to be used for the radar warning receiver. The switch is going to be used for the EPU. So the mains power unit. So you need that to power the aircraft first before powering the engines.
Since this was version 1, I really wanted to work on version 2. Version 2 would probably be much more refined out. The initial concept for this one was it was supposed to be a multiplayer kind of thing, where you can have two of these sims networked together. You can have something like people could have kind of 1 versus 1 kind of thing, dogfights kind of thing out, but we ended up doing 1, so it still worked. But that was the idea. So if I do get a chance to work on version 2, it'll be kind of built on what we learned on version 1. I could probably restart it, do it again, and then try to do stuff again. Restarting it would be a good idea because I wouldn't want to kind of build on that. I mean, because if I got a lot of things wrong in that version, continuing from there wouldn't help a lot. I could start again and like, okay, this is what I learned. Let me apply what I learned in there to implement version 2, and then and you know, with Airborne Renegade, you know, it wasn't just to do it once. The actual intention was to kind of create a series out of it, like a game series, or you know, a simplified sim game kind of series, with kind of the, you know, with a level of immersion that's kind of like what you would get with other games out there. And it wasn't also kind of, you know, people were kind of like, because some people were like, you know, why don't you just go play that? Well, you know, I mean, I wouldn't want to do that, because, you know, if I can, I mean, I'm more like, you know, can I make that? Rather than, you know, I can just go play that. That's not, that was my objective, really. And it's not really about trying to compete with what's out there. It's kind of like to create more content of what's out there. You know, people can have a lot more options.